where I was.
Okay, part two, let me see, I forget too, so. Would you encourage any other PHAs for this leadership program?
For sure.
You think it helps them?
Yeah, especially the ones, I was very self-conscious of my weight. I was very self-conscious of just being positive, period. And I got rid of that, just being positive, quite a few years ago. I'm at a stage in my life now where I really don't care who knows and who doesn't know. It's very important for me to be able to speak up, pardon me, when I need to speak up, and I don't want any barriers. Like when I grew up, I was allowed to express my opinion. I was allowed to show my emotions. It's nothing to cry about. I'll give you something to cry about if you continue crying. It's don't tell this to anybody and don't tell that. And you know, that stuck with me for quite a few years. Don't ruin the family last name. Don't embarrass us. Well, you know, I turned out to be a very judgmental person. I judge people just by looking at how they dressed, just by looking at how they acted. And over the 14 years, you know what? I don't care how anybody dresses. I care about how they act. Because acting towards other people, especially to people that I know and I love dearly, I will not accept any disrespect that they put forward to other people. I refuse. Whether they're learning about respect or not, they should have learned all that in school. And if you don't learn it at home, and somebody on the outside, you know, says to you, you really shouldn't act that way, or you really shouldn't say things like that, they should take heed. But I think this training, if they have to wait till they're 62 like me to take this workshop and to find out how damaged you are by how my parents raised us, that's a long time to wait. A long time.
There's, right now at this time, there's a year's waiting list for the leadership training program because of the lack of funds. If a government official was watching this, what would you say to him right now? Like Mr. Harper?
Oh, our Mr. Harper? I better be nice. Mr. Harper would not help us PHAs or the organizations that help us to survive, to grow, unless it was a member of his family that was infected.
So you think the only way Mr. Harper is going to get on board is if he experiences HIV personally?
Yeah. Not personally himself.
But someone in his family? Or?
Someone in his family, close family. Could be a cousin, could be an uncle, could be a very close friend. They're not going to understand what we go through until something happens to them, or a member of parliament. You know, I mean, when I was diagnosed by a doctor that didn't even know that females could become HIV positive once they had a hysterectomy. Because that's what I was told.
Wow.
I didn't I had no fear of AIDS. None. Because he told me I had a hysterectomy and I couldn't possibly become positive. And I was his first patient in '94.
HIV positive.
Yep. And I went to this doctor for 5 years. But with Harper and anybody else that's in Parliament, it's almost like we PHAs now, this is an AIDS movement, we're going to have to fight 10 times harder than cancer movement way back. Because when I was a young teenager, everybody whispered about cancer. And now cancer is, if you watch the commercials on cancer, there are so many commercials out there, but yet nobody wants to put out the money to put out commercials on HIV, how you get it, how to go get testing, to go with your friends to go get testing. There should be more out there. And I think the government should be more involved. And same with Health Canada. I mean, you can't always take this money and stick it in your pockets. You take away some of our services. And you say to yourself, those PHAs can wait another year before they have training. Well, you know, and a lot can happen in that year. We get depressed people. We get people that commit suicide. Well, I don't want that for my friends. I want them to be at a part of my, where I am a part of in my life right now. I want them to be where I am. But I don't want them to wait 62 years. You know, if you can get a newly diagnosed person that you can tell not to have any fear, which sometimes is very hard to do, and if you can get them into a program within 2 years, that would be awesome. Then you'd have more activists around. You know, I don't know what else to say. I just want the money to go where it should go. That we are, it almost seems like Harper or anybody else in the government wants to kill us all off. Or the pharmaceutical companies don't want to find a cure because they're going to lose mega millions of dollars on their drugs. So they're going to keep us alive for so long, and yet Harper is going to keep us down until we get a new government and find somebody that's willing to say, yes, I will help people living with HIV and AIDS. I will help with the needle program, the housing program, and the learning program. Until then, I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be a happy camper, and I'm not going to shut up either.
Right up.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And to get us all together after lunch, we just want to do a 3 big breaths in to bring us all back together. Breath in. Deep breath. Breath in. All the way out. So you're still
Studying poetry is like performing the very first dissection. First we cut through the tissues and muscles, examining closely what we find. Then we try to make sense of the massive organs, tubules, and body fluids. We try to determine the function of each, how it works, and how over or underuse will affect the rest of the system. Once we've learned these mysteries, we can then try to put our newfound knowledge to some good by probing the inside of the bodies of those suffering with various ailments, trying to apply what we've learned and attempt to heal them. Writing poetry is much the same. First we cut through all the defense mechanisms, listening